So I am coming to the end of 7 weeks pregnant, my first trimester. I've wanted to come in here and record so many times and share aspects of my experience over the past few weeks, but honestly I've had a lot going on behind the scenes in daily life, but then on top of that the fatigue and the nausea has been pretty overwhelming, which is kind of to be expected. It's been an intention, but here we are finally. And I almost feel like I've been dragging my feet even today just to get this video done. I am coming to the end of 7 weeks, and at the moment nobody knows except for my husband and I. But I'm getting to the point now where I want some people to know, because I just want to be able to not put on a brave face and just feel like rubbish openly. The pregnancy was intentional, and I think that in light of the wildness of 2020 and just reevaluating things, but also getting older, and I just had this clarity one day and I was like, it's really now or never. And we were very fortunate with our first. We had no complications, felt pregnant straight away, had a really smooth pregnancy, generally speaking. I had a posterior labor, so if any of you out there know about a posterior labor, you'll know how excruciating that was. But I did have a home birth with midwifery care, and it was wonderful. As soon as we knew that, you know, it was very likely that I was going to be pregnant, I went to the local compound pharmacy and got made up some iron picolinate capsules made up, which I took during my first pregnancy with our boy and also postpartum. I'm a vegetarian, so I've never been deficient in iron or B12 or anything, but of course I've naturally been on the lower side. So I just thought from, you know, the beginning I would start to really focus on increasing my iron levels. I've been taking almost every day an iodine supplement, and that's pretty much it really in terms of health and supplementation. Honestly, I think I knew I was pregnant like as soon as I was pregnant, because I felt that surge of energy with ovulation. And then one day I woke up, and it was around the time just after I would have ovulated, and I was absolutely exhausted. It was like the day it was as though I was about to get my period. It felt that heavy. I didn't want to move. My energy levels have been pretty low ever since then. If you're watching this and you have not had a child, so I am coming to the end of 7 weeks, but really that is calculated from the date of the first day of your last period. So really I haven't been pregnant for 7-8 weeks. It's only been about 5.5 weeks. Another sign that I knew I was pregnant was teaching yoga, and this has happened on a number of occasions where the connection between my brain and my mouth, there's like a delay, and I've caught myself stuttering a number of times or unable to just like get a thought out clearly. And yeah, it's just like, you know, like a switch. The brain just kind of stops. There's like this inability to really get out what I want to get out. There's like a lag, a delay. And it still happens, it's still happening, but not as bad. Now I just feel really tired. Like I just want to lie around all the time. I've definitely been super hungry. So the baby at the moment, if you can call it a baby, is the size of a blueberry, but it's at its fastest rate of growth. So hence the fatigue of a first trimester and the hunger. I've definitely had strong cravings, but the cravings that I've had have not been, say, like what I recall with my first pregnancy. I remember it was more so in second and third trimester, where it was like for 2 weeks I just wanted to eat mandarins all the time, or for another 2 weeks I just wanted to eat white rice and dal all the time. Then there was another week where 2-3 weeks I wanted to eat mushrooms. Whereas this has been just like strong daily cravings and aversions. And when I have a craving, it's like I've got to fulfill that craving, but it might just last for the day or for the hour or something, but it's so strong that I have to honor it. And then the aversions are really strong. I've been gagging while brushing my teeth. It puts a knot in my stomach when I put my toothbrush in the back of my mouth. Oh, and I get this real metallic taste in my mouth now after brushing my teeth, which is pretty nasty. And then yeah, I've just felt constantly car sick. I'm so grateful that I haven't been vomiting or anything like that. And then of course, which is a pretty classic thing, you know, I'm really hungry and then I eat and then I feel sick from eating and, you know, all the things. There was definitely a couple of weeks there where I felt like I was showing. Like I was like, what? I've got this bump already. But in hindsight now, thinking back, I think I was pretty bloated, which is kind of rare for me. So it didn't seem normal. I didn't feel bloated. I just physically looked bigger. And I think it's just everything adjusting. My digestive system has been quite fine and normal otherwise. So I've already booked in with the local midwifery group practice here in my city, and I've got the same midwife that I had last time. One of the interesting challenges that I've experienced is that my normal GP, my normal doctor, actually moved to a different practice, which is notably bigger drive than what I was used to. I went to another female GP at the regular practice that I had been going to for a long time. I'd never seen her before, and I did not have a very pleasant experience with respect to my personal values. I've decided to be a little bit rebellious, at least at this point in time. She gave me a referral to, you know, get a urine sample done and bloods done, and I understand that's pretty standard. But in my bloods, there were so many things that I was meant to be tested for, and I'm thinking, how is it possible that I would have contracted this stuff? And yet she did not send me to be tested for my iron and my B12 levels and my iodine and all these things that are really, really imperative from, you know, a nutrient perspective. So I felt a little bit disgruntled about that. She sent me for a dating scan, which I have not attended. So at the moment, I'm just holding off on all of that. I am over the age of 35, and so stereotypically the system wants us to be a little bit more diligent, and that's fine. I respect that. The manner in which I was, let's say, dealt with, I didn't appreciate. As someone who has already birthed, had a home birth, had a natural birth, had no birth complications other than a posterior baby, and a perfectly great pregnancy, no postnatal complications, I felt as if my own personal experience had no bearing on my capacity to make the right decisions for myself. That was the undertone that I experienced. Upon asking for a referral, just a paper referral to the midwifery practice, which I did last time, which they require, it was kind of laughed at a little bit, and she made a statement, something along the lines of, I normally give referrals to not birth with midwives. At this point in time, I'm considering now moving to my old regular GP and going to the new practice where she is. I feel like that will be a better decision for me and for our family. So that's the plan. This is the photograph of the third pregnancy test that I did, so you can see that it was pretty obviously pregnant. I sent this to my husband while he was at work on January 17th, 2 days before our little boy's birthday. So that was pretty darn exciting.